Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, August 18th. It is 6:25 right now. We got market opening up in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up liquidity over here real quick, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. Down to the 8 hour, 4 hour, 2 hour time frame, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 10 minute, and back down to the 1 minute here. All right, looks good, guys. Looks like we're good to go. So good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, August 18th. Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. 6:27 right now. We got market opening up in about 3 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. You can see here the price pushed up initially pre-market, started coming down a little bit. I believe we have some news for today. We have NAHB Housing Market Index at 7 o'clock, and that's pretty much it. So I'll mark that up over here just in case. And we'll see how that affects the market. So looking over here at the overall direction of price, market structure right now is pretty bullish. You can see over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, all bullish right here. 1 hour, 4 hour is currently neutral. Looking over here at the overall trend, trend over here on the 4 hour, 1 hour, and a 30 minute is a bit mixed. So the 4 hour here is bullish, 1 hour is neutral, and the 30 minute is bearish right now. Looking over here on the lower time frames, 15 minute is neutral, 5 minute is bullish, and the 1 minute here is bullish neutral. So with that said, we do have everything here kind of pointing towards a bullish bias with regard to entries. So I'll probably be looking for buys today versus sells. If we are going to be looking for a orb entry for today, it's probably going to be a buy. Also, momentum breakout is looking like it's going to be a buy here as well. We currently have a buy signal here that's currently active. So depending on how this candle here closes, it's not looking like it's going to close with the sell signal. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a buy. We'll know in a few moments, for sure, but it's kind of safe to say that this is probably going to be a buy entry for momentum breakout. Again, as you guys know, today's Monday. Monday is a risky day to be trading, Monday and Fridays, mainly because Monday people are re-entering the market for the weekend from the weekend, and Friday people are exiting the market for the weekend. So with that being said, you might want to be careful with your entry here initially on open. Momentum breakout's usually pretty tricky on Monday, so I usually try to skip it on Mondays. But again, if you guys feel comfortable with the position here, everything's pointing towards a buy. That momentum breakout for today is going to be a buy entry. So again, market's opening shortly in about 50 seconds. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Steven. Morning, Ben. Morning, Chris. Morning, Lila. Morning, Simon. Morning, Karen. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. Good morning, guys. Looks like you guys are ready to start off the day. Looking over here. Morning, David. Morning, Daniel. Morning, guys. We got market opening up in about 30 seconds, guys. So price here is currently going back and forth between these two areas right here. Not really too much of a direction overall, but we'll see what happens here shortly. We do have some structure here, so I'll mark up some small structure around this area right here. That's a little bit of a resistance up there. Got a resistance right here as well. some support right here. Market is now open, guys. So market is now open. We got price kind of bouncing back and forth as we speak. Like I said, a lot of manipulation here on Monday. So this is why I tend to not take any entries immediately on open. I try to wait for the market here to kind of stabilize a little bit before I start looking for entries. This candle here is pretty huge. This might be really, really tricky for the orb entry, guys, for those of you who are looking to take the orb. I'm marking structure around here, and then we'll kind of clean it up as this candle here closes. So I got structure kind of marked up through here. You guys can see how this huge spike came down for a spike, and it's spiking right back up. This is what I mean about market being very tricky here on Monday, because you see here how price is pretty much wiping people out in both directions. This thing right here spiked down about 50 points so far. So I'll mark the opening price up right here real quick. This orb is going to be huge, guys. So just, just a heads up, because if it's kind of crazy like this, I usually just try to avoid it. But I mean, we'll see if price swings back up from here. I'm mainly going to be looking for buys here, of course. So price is swinging back up. This is a huge swing for this orb range right here, right? We got this huge orb range right here. The orb high is going to be right here at 45,031. 45,031 is going to be the orb high right there. So basically what I'm going to be looking for here is I'm looking for price to break above this area, retest it, and push up higher. But because we have such a huge range here, this is going to be a little tricky to be getting into for entry. I mean, we'll see what happens here. I'm going to keep following it, of course. My bias here is still here for a buy for the most part, but it is pretty mixed because it's starting to change here. It looked pretty bullish initially, and then see how price came down right here. Now it's not so clear, right? So I'm looking for a correction here, basically a break above here, close, retest, push up higher. So if you're looking to take the orb high is going to be right here at 45,031. I'll be watching for it right here. I'll probably take it if it does close, but I need to make sure that it actually closes above here. I'm watching the price action. I don't like how price here spikes directly off the orb high like that. See how price pushed up and then it spikes directly off this price. I don't like that, right? I want it to be very clean. I want it to be very consistent. I just want it to push above, close, retrace, and push back up higher. I don't like how it's retesting it right here and it keeps bouncing and bouncing and bouncing off this area, right? We don't like that. We want price to be smooth and liquid. Right now, it's not smooth and liquid. See how price came up to that area, that orb high? It bounced directly off it. There's not going to be a break and close right there. Probably not. You got 5 seconds left on this candle, no break and close. So we're going to wait again on this next candle here. But again, like I said, if this here keeps testing it and bouncing off and testing it and bouncing off and testing and bouncing off, I'm just not going to take the entry there. I'll be waiting for the next opportunity, like a high-low break and retest to appear. I don't like this messiness right here. So we got a bit of a mess here. Let me clean this up a little bit. With regard to liquidity, looks like we got a huge sweep down there. It's kind of like what it looks like at the moment. So I'm just going to try to clean this up as much as possible because it's such a messy markup now because of this big spike. Okay, I clean this up, or I'm trying to clean this up as much as possible here. Yeah, so price is kind of just sitting right here at the opening price. The orb hasn't came up yet, guys. So if you're looking to take that orb, there's still no orb entry. You can see over here how price is kind of bouncing back and forth. It's doing exactly what I just warned you guys about. Be careful in the price actions like this because it shows that there's not very much consistency for a specific direction. So with that being the case right here, I mean, our bias might shift from bullish to bearish, right? Because looking over here on the 1 minute, it's now bearish. Looking over here on the 5 minutes, neutral. 15 minutes is still bullish, 30 minutes bullish, but the 4 hour and 1 hour is still neutral as well. So this can shift to a bearish bias at any point, really. And if that becomes the case, I mean, sells could be up for grabs down here. Right? We don't know yet, but we'll see. Looking at the overall trend here, the overall trend's a little bit messed up now. 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour is neutral, 4 hours bullish, 15-minute is neutral, 5 minutes bullish still, and the 1 minute is bullish here as well. So it's a little tricky. Again, right here, price is testing this area. I don't like how it's not breaking past it. It's kind of getting stuck right there. Again, if you guys want to take the orb here, feel free if it closes, but you got to make sure that it actually closes. Again, here, second test of the orb high, failed to break and close above it, rejection directly off the orb high. This is not a good sign for price to be or for you to take any buy entries here, right? You don't want to see this here. You want to see price break above it, have a clean break, clean close, retest, continuation to the upside. So, I mean, looking at the price action here, it looks like I'm probably not going to be looking for the orb here, guys. To be honest, probably not going to be looking for an orb here because I don't like how it keeps testing right here. What I'm worried is that price actually breaks above here, fakes out and pulls back below, right? That's like typically what happens when you see this type of price action. So again, here price is breaking past it. Let's see if it actually closes above this area. Um, yeah, this is a real toss up in my opinion because here it is closing above it, but I'm not sure if this is actually going to hold and if it might just fake out and pull back below, right? So I think for me today, guys, I'm going to hold off on this orb high. If you guys want to take this as an orb entry, again, right here, it's not actually closing above it. Yeah, it's doing exactly what I just warned you guys about. See this? It failed to close above it. And then we have a price gap right here. So I'm not taking this entry, guys. If you guys want to take this here as an orb, I mean, feel free to take it. This pretty much gapped up. So it closed below here, and at the last second, it gapped above. So if you guys want to take this entry, your orb high is going to be at 45,031. That's going to be where the entry is going to set up from. If this here pushes past the 40 here without coming back for a retracement to fill, then you're supposed to skip this order here or just skip this entry. The orb is currently running right now, depending on which orb you guys are taking. If you're taking the regular orb where it closes and you take it right there, you'd technically be in the entry already. If you're waiting for the retest, your retest entry would be right here at the limit, 45.31. I'm not taking this entry, guys. I didn't like it. Like this is horrible right here, how this ended up gapping up. Price action here is not good. You guys can see there's a price gap. The price gap shows across the board, so it's not just here on TradingView, but I see it also on my NinjaTrader. It's just price closed below here, and for whatever reason, it ended up opening way here. That's a big price gap. That is the 6 point price gap. It's a lot of slippage right there. So if you guys want to take it again, your entry is going to be right here at 45,031. I'm not taking the position there. I'm just going to follow it, and we'll kind of see where this goes. I'll look for further entries though. So I'm not going to be taking the orb here, but I will be looking for possible high-low break and retest above this area here. There's a high-low break and retest that just got filled right now. It was right here at 45.37. A little bit of a messy move there, but that is a high-low break and retest currently filled and running in profit right there. 40 points looks a little far, as you guys can see here. I don't know if 40 points might be the move today. I mean, we'll see if this is the case and price continues to move, but right now it looks like 40 points is pretty spread out. So the orb here actually never filled yet, guys, for the retest. The orb didn't fill, but the break and retest here did fill. This was a lower high right here, which price broke and closed past. It retested on this following candle right here, and it's now pushing up higher. So this high-low break and retest is currently running. I'm not in either position here. You guys can see the price action here is kind of all over the place. Kind of glad I'm not in any positions here right now because it's a total mess. We did have a sweep that happened from down here, guys, off this lower low. So if you guys took that, I mean, that's the first thing that I can see which came up so far. Sweep from down here. Not in any positions here yet, guys. Again, like I said, I don't like the price action. The price is pretty messy right now. It's all over the place, actually. Price here spiked down, spiked up, came back down right here to open. So let's go back to the orb. So look at the orb here. See what happened? It did exactly what I said was going to happen, right? This is why I decided not to take the orb today. I said price kept testing this area, testing it, and what I was worried about was for price to push up and fake out back into the range, right? And that's exactly what happened here. So we pretty much dodged a bullet. I've seen this pattern come up one too many times. That's why I don't get caught in these traps anymore. Typically in the beginning, when I started applying this strategy, I would get caught in these traps, but I would see this happen a lot where price would test it, test it, test it, fail to break above. And then when it does break above it, fakes out and pulls back into the range. So I pretty much skipped this right here, thankfully, because this would have been a loss. So no entry so far, guys. I mean, price here is still kind of bouncing back and forth. Again, there is another sweep that happened from up here. So basically sweeps in both directions. We had another sweep here to the downside. So we had a sweep up right here when price came down to this lower low. at the 44 965, and then another sweep over here at this next extreme at 45,045. As you guys can see, these sweeps they work well when you take them from the extremes. I don't necessarily try to take the ones in the middle, but these from the extreme ends will tend to work out. So there's two of these here, and we will continue looking for direction to finally establish. Looks like we might start to get a bullish direction here. Looking over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, looks like they're all starting to turn bullish together. So that's a good sign. If that's the case, then we might be looking for some buys here as price continues to push up higher. There's a possible opportunity over here for a high-low break and retest off this higher high. Not necessarily one I'm looking to take just yet because I want to see some sort of confirmation here, at least like a break and close past this area, and then possibly continuation from there. That's going to be the main area that I'll be looking for entries. Let's see. So market open right here at 6:30. Price spiked down about 55 points. Price spiked up about 45 points. So big pushes back and forth. You guys can see here, price is pretty much just bouncing off these support and resistance zones or market structure. So I'll clean this up right here. I'll leave this market structure here. It's still there. And I'll leave that lower market structure right there as well. All right, so we'll see what happens here. I mean, this thing's super messy. Super messy. It looks like price here is still trying to come back down. There's like no direction here. So let's go back and take a look at the overall trend. 1 minute here is bearish neutral. You can see prices in between the pivots. The pivots are going sideways. The trend meter is red, but price is kind of just going back and forth. The 5 minute here is still bullish, but it's more on the neutral side. You can see our prices in between the pivots. The trend meter is green, but price is going to the side. 15 minute here is still bearish. So if this is the case, if these are following up with the 15, then this could be the possible direction, bearish. We just don't have confirmation right now with regard to the overall market structure. So until the market structure here confirms, I'm not really looking to take any entries here. There's going to be a possible high-low break and retest off this higher low. If you guys are looking to take that, the entry would be right here at 44,996. So if you're looking for that high-low break and retest, it can be one right here possibly. The trickiness about this one right here is that it's going to be right at the session. So see right here how we have this green line. This is the London low and the New York low. So even though you have an entry here for a sell, you're going to have to cut through this session over here, both of these sessions, for price to reach your target, right? You don't really we typically don't trade around the sessions here because this is typically where price gets highly manipulated. The candle actually didn't break past it right here. Or actually it broke past it, but didn't close past it. So there's no high-low break and retest here just yet. You have to wait for the candle to actually break and close past this higher low, which is at 44,996. Man, it's a messy market today. We're getting a lot of these where price gets like right to the number, but it doesn't actually break and close past it, right? Pretty messy there. Same with the orb for today too. If you guys look at the orb here, the orb didn't actually break and close past the area. It pretty much closed below it and then it gapped above. See how this candle right here didn't actually close above it? It just closed below here and it opened up here. It's a 6-point price gap. Yeah, huge price gap right there. So just looking at how the market's moving right now, I think this might be a day where I might play it really, really safe. I mean, I might play it super conservative today because it's just not looking too clean. You guys can see here from the price action, this is a mess, right? It's just big wicks on both ends, a lot of mess back and forth. I warned you guys about this before market open. I said Mondays and Fridays are the riskier days to trade of the week. Monday because people are re-entering the market from the weekend, so you get a lot of this price manipulation. And then Friday, you get the same thing because people are exiting the market for the weekend. So you get a little bit of both here. Like I said, I was going to wait for the market here to stabilize a little bit before I start looking for entries. As you can see here, price is not stabilized yet. So with that being the case, this is a good time to just kind of sit on your hands and wait. No need to force any trades here. Just kind of wait for this here to smoothen out. Once it smoothens out, then I'll be looking for entries. We do have market structure here that is looking bullish. But again, I'm not really looking for entries until we get price out of this area. I don't really want to trade in this middle area here. Once it presses above here and stays above this area, I'll look for entries up here. But I don't really want to trade within this middle area here because you can see it's just a bunch of market chop, right? Price will push down, fake out. Price will push up, fake out, push down, fake out, fake out, fake out. So you don't really want to trade within these middle areas. I'd look for price to break above here, continue up higher, or I'd look for price to break below here, continue down lower. But I don't really want to trade right here in the middle. It's a big mess right here. So, all right, guys, I'm going to be waiting for price here to push out of this area. I mean, if price pushes up, that's great because it's going to line up with my bias and confluences here, right? We have a bullish bias here. Looking over here at the trend, like it's starting to shift bullish right now. 1 minute's starting to shift bullish, 5 minutes already bullish, 15-minute here is shifting bullish too. It's closing above the pivots. It's just a matter of time until we have that confirmation. So I need confirmation of price to break out of this area and stay out of this area. Again, right here, here's another attempt for price to break past here. So again, I'm going to be waiting for price to basically break past here above this area and hold above this area, right? Stay above here. What I'm going to be watching for, there's two different scenarios here. Price either breaks above and stays above this area and holds, or price breaks above, fakes out, and pulls back into the range, right? This is a no-no for us. This is a no, and this is a go, right? I want price to stay above this area. So we'll see. ATR is picking up. We're now at 23 ATR. Earlier it was below 20. Now it's up to 23. So with that being the case, looks like there's a lot of shakeouts right here. Price pretty much shaked out people on both directions. And now it's pushing above and it's starting to move in a directional flow to the upside. So again, I need price to stay above here, right? That's going to be the main thing I'm going to be looking for. No entries for me here yet. I'm going to clean this up as price continues to move through. I'm going to clean this up as well. There's another sweep down here. So sweep off this higher low. Lots of sweeps in both directions right there. I'm going to drop this down a little further. All right, so let's see what we got here. Again, we're going to be waiting for price here to confirm past this higher high. Everything's looking good though for buys right now though, for the most part. So again, let's see what happens here, guys. Like I said earlier, look for price to either hold above this area and continue holding, or look for it to fake out back into the range. Right? Just two different scenarios here. Look how price is breaking below here. So it looks like a fake out like I just warned you guys about. Price didn't actually hold above here, faked out. And it's trying to pull back into the range. What we might get here, this is another thing that may happen, is price may just consolidate around this area. So price will break above it, consolidate, it'll start to squeeze, and then eventually price is going to break out to the upside or it's going to break out to the downside. Right. So just waiting to see here what happens. It's going to go either way. So price is either going to break above and continue climbing up and hold, or it's going to pull back into the range. So just a matter of time. It's got to be patient and wait. Again, right here, see how price is stuck within that box? It's got to wait. Just got to wait and be patient here. So if this is the case in this hold, I need a new low here, right? So I'm going to clean this up again a little bit. What I'm going to be looking for here is I'm looking for a new low to establish, because if we have this higher high here, which holds, I need a low to establish, price to break above this area, retest, and I'll be looking for a high low break and retest from this level right here. So this is where my entry point is going to be, around 45,079. It's going to be, again, a little tricky of an area because we do have the sessions up here at this Asia high, but at least we'll have some sort of direction. Okay, looks like price here is not actually holding above. Looks like that fake out that I mentioned is starting to play through. Fake out from up here, pull back into this lower range. So as you guys can see, the sweeps here are actually working out pretty well. If you guys are taking the sweeps, there's another sweep right here off this higher high. Yeah, another sweep right here. The sweeps are just hitting back and forth. So we had a sweep down here, sweep up here, sweep down here, another sweep right here off this higher high. So we get this higher high right here. It's the extreme of the high. There's no other highs around this area. So this is the farthest it can go. Price pretty much swept from there and it's pulling right back into this range. I'd probably base it off the ATR. The ATR right now is currently at 23, so I go to maybe round it up 25. There goes another sweep. Man, what a messy market. But I'm not surprised, right? Today's Monday, like I said, this is what's expected of a Monday. Sometimes Mondays are directional, but for the most part, Mondays are usually days where we get a lot of this chop. If you look over here at my stats for the year, so I don't really trade on Mondays. You can see over here, I don't have many trades that happen on Mondays, right? Nothing right there. Like almost no trades on Mondays here. There was like one day over here where I took a partial, but all of July I took no trades on Monday. June I took a couple trades here, not so much, but I took a couple trades. May I took no trades on. I took one trade on Monday and it was a loss. April over here I took two trades on Monday, one win, one loss. So you can see, just going back at data here, Mondays are typically no trade days for me because it's just a messy market. Over here on February I took one trade, it was a loss. January took two trades here, one loss, one win. So you can see here for the most part, I do have some decent months where it's good on Mondays, but for the most part, if you look at all my months here, I usually don't trade on Mondays because there's no entries for me to take. Yeah, nothing here for August. So just another Monday here, 18th. Probably not going to get any entries, but we'll see. So this is why it's key that you guys document your trades, right? My journal here, it shows exactly how my trading habits are for the whole year. And I can understand that, okay, if I usually lose trades on Monday, then it's okay to be very conservative on Mondays, right? I mean, there's going to be some months where like it's just they work like Monday in March over here, this worked pretty well. Um, and then again in June. But for the most part, I usually don't take anything Monday. So for that being the case, I don't feel the need to take any trades today. Even though I would like to take a trade, if I see something good, I'll take it. But if nothing comes up that's really that great, that stands out, obviously I'm not going to force any trades here, right? So if you guys have a journal like this, if you guys want to use my journal, this is a pretty cheap journal and it's really good. It's TraderSync. If you guys go to the Discord, I do have a link for it there. I think there's a promo code for it there as well. You just need the cheapest plan. You could even probably use the free plan if you wanted. You could use the free plan and just document your trades because this helps a ton. If I look over here at my overview, I could kind of see. Yeah, I can kind of see like where I suck, right? I can see where my trades suck, and then from there, I can just not trade on those days. Yeah. So you can see over here, like Wednesdays are kind of bad days for me too. Wednesdays and Mondays. Every other day is pretty good. Tuesday, Thursdays are my hottest days where I make the most profit. And then Friday is like my third hottest day. So Mondays into Wednesdays, my trades are usually not so great, and then they're good on Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday sometimes for the most part. So yeah, this thing's cool. I've been documenting my trades for the whole year and like a portion of last year, and it's been helping me a lot with identifying, okay, what days should I be riskier? What days should I be less risky? Um, it makes a huge difference. So again, I'm looking for price to break above this area, guys. We now have a low here. So with that being the case, I'll be looking for price to break above this area, retest this high right here, 45,079, and push up higher from that point. That's only if we don't get a new high within this middle area, but we'll see. Super, super messy market today. As you guys can see, there's not really much to take. Price has just been going back and forth, back and forth. Um, so the opening price here, it keeps acting as a magnet, right? This blue line. Price will pull below, pull back to the open. Price will push above, pull back to the open, pull below, back to the open. pull above, back to the open, etc. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, but you guys can see right here, there's nothing to take at the moment. I mean, there's opportunities if you guys want to take the sweeps. I do find the sweeps to be a bit risky, but again, if you feel comfortable taking the sweeps there, I mean, feel free, right? As confident as you feel, take the trade that resonate with your trading style, your trading strategy, etc. Nothing here is really lining up with what I'm looking for, so I'm not really forced at all, but I'm just not really, I don't feel the need to get into anything. So this low here has pretty much been pushed lower. And this here is a big range. So you guys can see the range between the lows and the highs. These are huge, almost 100-point range here. And there he goes, price pulls back below. So again, if this is the case, price here may shift. We might be looking for some sells. Um, I mean, we really could be looking for some sells today because looking over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 15 minute, it's now shifting back to bearish. 30 minutes bearish. 1 hour is neutral, but it is shifting to bearish as well. And the 4 hour here is pretty much bullish neutral. So I'll keep looking to see if there's opportunities down here. I mean, if this is the case and price drops lower, this is technically going to be a high-low break and retest off this lower low right here. So if you guys do want to take a high-low break and retest, you can take it right here off this low. This low has not been tested. It's the first time it's breaking past it. It's at 44,986. I mean, it's crazy that these ranges are so far out from these highs and lows. This is a 94-point range. That's very far. Usually these high lows don't spread out that far, right? So again here, if you guys want to take this as a high low break and retest, it's going to be right here at 44,986. I mean, for me, I'm not going to take this because my bias hasn't shifted to bearish yet, not completely. So I'm not looking to take any trades here at this moment. Also, this thing's pushed out pretty far, so I don't even know if this will fill. So again, if you guys want to take this here as a high-low break and retest, your pending order is going to be right here at 44,986. It has to fill on this current candle here. If it doesn't fill on this candle, there's no entry. Looks like it's filled now, so I'll follow this with you guys. Not in this position. As you guys can see, it's right at the red flag, right? It's currently rejecting right here to break and retest off the New York low and London low. This is considered a red flag where price gets highly manipulated, and that's why I'm not really looking to take this entry here at all. The high-low break and retest is active though, so if you guys are taking it, we'll follow it for you. But I don't think this is a good entry. There's a lot of reasons here why. The bias here isn't very strong for a bearish trade right now. Also, it's currently at a red flag. And then on top of that, the trend here hasn't really shifted and confirmed. So it's bearish on the 1, it's bearish on the 15, it's bearish on the 30. The 5 minute here is still bullish, 1 hour is neutral, and the 4 hour is bullish. So that being the case, it's pretty much even, right? It's not really one-sided at all. These three right here are bearish or yeah, bullish neutral, and these right here, 15, 1, and 30 are bearish. So that being case, it's three against three right here. I wouldn't take this trade because it's not really one-sided. I'd rather have, 4 boxes here that are bearish or 5 boxes that are bearish versus just 3 and 3. So the trade's still running. So I'm not going to try to fade your trade here. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Like this is a risky trade. The trend here hasn't confirmed. The market structure here hasn't confirmed. There's price here. It's retesting off the sessions. I mean, this is a good thing. The good thing here is that it does retest the sessions and it's bouncing off. Like you do want to see that because you want manipulation to work in your favor, right? But the thing with manipulation is that it's so unpredictable. Like price can easily shift down and hit your target, or price can easily just fake out here and swing right back up. So again, I'm not trying to fade your trade here because obviously I would never fade my own analysis, but I would consider this a very risky opportunity for entry. Not one that I would take. It's not worth my risk. So price is down here retesting this liquidity. Looks like the target here will probably get hit. Like I said, the 40s here are kind of hard to come by because the ATR is so low right now. It's currently at 22. So it looks like it's about to hit right there. If you guys took that, yeah, full TP. So if you guys took that right there, nice work. If you guys didn't take it, I mean, it's completely fine. I didn't take it here as well, but you guys can see here that the strategy, the analysis, everything here lines up. And it still plays through, even though it's a risky trade. So risky trade, but I didn't take it. So obviously it's not counting towards the official trades, but there was an opportunity there if anybody decided to catch that. It was a high-low break and retest. This candle broke and closed past this lower low. It retested on the following candle and dropped down below lower. Other confluences that we had here for this trade would be a sell momentum right here. So we had a bearish momentum. We also had a bearish trend, and we had a bearish trend with regard to the pivots. So solid overall there. Looking at the market structure, it's now turning bearish. So with that being the case, we might be able to start looking for some sells here. There's actually another high-low break and retest that's running alongside. So we had the initial high-low break and retest off this lower low, and then another high-low break and retest off this lower low right here. So we'll see. I'll clean this up again. And half of the job here is really just cleaning up the charts because it keeps getting messy and messy and messy as price continues to move along, which is okay. We have news right here, guys. NAHB Housing Market Index. Let's take a look at the news for today. So it was negative for the news, worse than expected. NAHB Housing Market Index was forecasted to be 34. Forecasted to be positive. It was actually worse than expected. It was 32. So with that being the case, we'll see here if price reacts to this news event. It might not. This isn't a huge news event. It's just housing data. All right. PC said full TP 52 to 592. Nice work, PC. And he said, I think anything is risky outside of the range today. Yeah, I agree, PC. I agree. Because this is a pretty huge range, guys. So, just like what PC mentioned, his criteria also lines up with mine. There's a lot of fake outs that can happen here. So below here, fake out back into the range. Above here, fake out back into the range. I mean, that's pretty much what's happening here. As you guys can see, it's kind of faking out a little bit, pulling back into the range. All right, so I still have market structure down here right now. I'll clean this up as price, continues to move along a little bit. So I'll clean up this market structure. I think this market structure is a little, or I can leave it there for now. Yeah, I'll clean up the market structure as price continues to move along, but I think this market structure is a little important. The ones in the middle. I'll leave these structures here. So we got a bunch of resistance up here. We got a bunch of support right here. Price is dropping lower as we speak. All right, so if this is the case, then we might have a bearish bias here overall. Shifted around a little bit. We had a bearish bias, bullish bias, and then back to a bearish bias here. So looking at my market structure overall here, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour is all bearish. 15 minutes still bullish, and the 4 hour is neutral. So that being the case, we might be able to look for some sells here. Looking over here on the lower time frames, everything's bearish again. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30 minute, all bearish here. So we have four boxes here which are bearish. The 1 hour over here is bearish neutral. It's currently neutral right now, but it is shifting below the pivots. The only one here that's bullish right now at the moment is going to be the 4 hour. So everything here is pretty much aligning with bearish bias. So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll continue to look for opportunities here for entry. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep looking here. We had price break below the orb here finally. So the orb sell here actually finally filled, looks like. Yeah, the orb sell is actually currently running right now. I'm not in this position, but like I said earlier, this over here was not an actual orb buy because it didn't actually break and close past it. It basically closed below it and gapped above. This over here is an actual orb sell. So price broke and closed below it, retested, and now it's pulling back into the range. So no entries for us here with the orb for today. Again, looking over here, price is faking out and pulling back into the range. So it just goes back to what we just talked about. Entries outside of the range are super, super risky. If anything, this is a sweep day. So if you guys want to look for sweeps, take sweeps at the extremes. That's probably gonna be your best option here. So there's another sweep right here that basically just came up. Yeah, basically another sweep right here. If you want to base it off the ATR, it's gonna be like 22 or 25. Probably round it up a little bit. Yeah, so another sweep right here off this lower low. So basing off the ATR, this is another sweep right there. So these trades kind of overlapped a little bit. We had the high-low break and retest come down, and then the sweep which happened right here, pretty much lined up with each other. All right. Well, still not looking for entries here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I can answer whatever you guys need help with. But right now, this is a good time or a good day to really just kind of watch the market from the sidelines. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm sidelining it today. There's no good setups right now. No good setups. The price action's not great. Price is just going back and forth a lot. Um, sidelining it is a skill of itself. Like being able to sit out of this type of market is a skill in trading because I already know for a lot of people, this is a type of market where people get FOMO'd into a position, right? You see price break out of the range and you try to chase that for a sell, or you see price break out of the range above, you try to chase that for a buy. Or even when price is ranging in between here, you guys are trying to chase trades. This is a typical trap market. This is a market where people get trapped in because there's no direction, right? I mean, this is good to like scalp, get in and out very quickly out of positions, but to take this for directional pushes, like a 40-point push, it's highly unlikely to catch those types of moves unless it happens within the range, right? So, yeah, a little tricky here. Hey, what's up, Sam? Thought you missed us today. I was like, it's the first day Sam's gonna miss, but you didn't miss out on much if you just joined in, Sam. I'm not sure if you took your own trades for the day, but there's not really much going on. A lot of chop here for YM today. Let's check NQ real quick. A lot of chop here for NQ too. Everything's pretty much choppy for the most part. Check ES. Yeah, everything's choppy here. So I don't know if you're looking to take if you took anything, but it looks like the market's been choppy all around. Let's check gold. So gold's actually directional. Yeah, there's a directional push over here for gold. Let me check the orb here for gold. So my strategies here, guys, they work across the board. You don't have to use them for YM. I mean, ideally you want to use them for YM, but you don't have to. Yeah, so the orb entry over here for gold actually shot right through. Gold's the only asset here that's moving directional, it looks like. Yeah, so the orb right there hit for gold. It's like the orb high there at 630, orb low right here. So the thing with gold here is you're not seeing this crazy movement that we just saw for YM, right? It's directional here. Price has been bearish pretty much since London session. Smooth direction to the downside. Versus comparing it to YM over here, huge, huge chop back and forth. So again, we're going right back into this range. Yeah, I mean, nothing there right now. It's all good though. It's all good. All right, here we go. It's pulling back to the opening price, guys. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. See how it acts as a magnet? Every time price pushes away, it pulls back to the this blue line, which is the opening price. Pull below, back to the blue line, pulled above, back to the blue line, down, blue line, up, blue line, down, again, back to the blue line. So that's kind of what we're working with right now, guys. Nothing too crazy. I mean, obviously, this is kind of what is expected of a Monday. So what I recommend is if you guys want to take a trade, feel free to take your trades, guys, but just be careful, right? Only take the trades if your confluences line up. Looking over here at market structure, again, we have no structure. Everything's pretty much neutral for the most part. Looking over here at the overall trend here is again, it's starting to shift back up. So we had a bearish trend here on the 1, 5, and 15. I was kind of excited because I was looking like, okay, we're going to look for some sells here. But now price is swinging back up. It's no longer the case, right? We don't have that bearish bias anymore. There's no bearish market structure. Um, the trend here is pretty much neutral for the most part. I mean, if price decides to come back down, okay, fine. I'll look for some possible entries right here at this lower low. But again, if you guys measure the price difference between this low and this high, it's just too far out. I mean, if you think about it, it's just way too far out. It's the 80-point range between each low and high. If you look over here, look at the previous lows and highs. They don't range that far out, right? 30 points, 40 points, etc. This is like a 100-point range between a swing high and a swing low. And this is like normal market. It's not like there's any crazy news happening. It's just normal market here. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. All right. So again, guys, nothing here right now. If you guys have any questions or you want me to take a look at anything, feel free to, hop into the chat. We just don't have anything here right now. As much as I'd like to take an entry, with it being Monday, I don't feel that itch to hop into anything, which is pretty normal. Pretty normal overall. So we got price pushing up higher. If this is the case, that's completely fine. Um, we can look for price to probably retest this area a bit higher. But as of now, not much. All right. All right, we got price pushing up higher, but again, not really too much here. This price continues to go back and forth. All right, we got price breaking past the opening price and it's starting to climb up a little higher. Just a little bit. And here he goes. Price comes back down. All right. So price here is now just sitting at the opening price. All right, guys, again, there is no direction here, really. All right, we got price pushing up right now as we speak. Looks like it's going to try to push past this area. I mean, if this is the case, the market structure is starting to look bullish. So the 1 minute's bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 5, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, all neutral. So with that being the case, yeah, we might see price continue to climb up higher from here. We're currently in this middle range. It's just going back and forth, back and forth. What we might see here is possible break and close above this area and continuation above higher. I mean, if it reaches that point, if it doesn't, we might get a fake out here and price may just start to come back to the open. What I would like to see here is I'd actually like to see a squeeze happen. So you can see here that we're in this huge range where price is just going back and forth between this big area. What I'd like to see here is I'd actually like price to squeeze because when price starts to squeeze sideways in a sideways consolidation zone, it prepares for a breakout. So I'd like to see that because I want to see price kind of consolidate for a bit and then break out of this area and climb up higher or break out below and climb lower, right? That is kind of what we're looking for right here. So 1 minute here is it's neutral bullish. 5 minute here is neutral bullish as well. 15 minute here is pretty much neutral. Prices in between the pivots. So it's a lot of shifts back and forth. You can see here on the 1 minute, it's super messy. 5 minute here is also very messy. The 15 minute here is a little clean actually, even though it's been choppy back and forth. The 15 minute here has been consistently holding below. So since market open over here, price hasn't really closed above it. So with that being the case, it shows here that the bearish confirmation is still very strong. So if this is the case, I don't think price is going to push up any higher. You know, it might push up for a temporarily push to the upside, but it looks like here on the 15 that price is really holding the sells here, staying below the pivots, failing to actually close above this area. So this whole day today from 6:30, price kept trying to push above it, didn't actually close above it, just stayed below. So if that's the case, you might see over here that the 15 minute is actually the cleanest chart to look at overall versus looking over here on the 5 minute where it's a little messy. So the 5 minute over here, price was actually above on market open, and then it came back below, and then now it's back above, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back below again. So that's the 5 minute, and this over here is the 1 minute. Price again did the same thing as the 5, back and forth. It initially started below, came above, came below, came above, came below, and now it's back above. So just looking at this from a bird's eye view, I think the sells here are actually the direction that I think price will actually push to. I think the pushes above here are probably just fake outs or just temporary pushes up, but eventually I think price is going to come back down. Because looking over here on the 1 hour, it's more on the bearish side. 30 minutes obviously bearish, 15 is bearish, 5 minute is just following the 1 minute here. Um, it's kind of just lagging behind it. And the 1 minute here is the one that's kind of just messing around. It's going back and forth so much. So we'll see. Nice. Yeah, Sam said he was trading gold, so makes sense. Gold's the only directional asset right now, guys, if you guys look at everything here. So let me just zoom out real quick. Again, let's take a look at NQ. NQ pretty choppy all over the place. Damn, there's a huge gap here for NQ. Look at this big gap. So this thing gapped from this candle down here. It's a pretty messy gap. It's an 86 point gap right here. That's crazy for NQ. Imagine you're in that position. I'd be so pissed. That thing gapped super far off. I mean, if you were for a sell, it would be great, but that's a huge gap right there. If you try to enter right here and you entered like the wrong second, you'd be down here. You would have missed out on 80 points or 80 ticks. 83 ticks right there. That's crazy. Looking at ES, nothing, sideways right here. So all of the major indices or futures right now, all the major future assets are pretty much neutral. They're just kind of going back and forth. YM, NQES, those are the main futures that people typically trade, the main future assets. Gold is like one of the other big ones, but gold doesn't fall into this category. It's considered different. It's in the metals. So here you go. YM's pulling back down, guys. New high right there established. Again, price pushed up, pull back to the opening price, push back below right here. We'll see if it pulls back to the opening price. I guess we'll see. It's not much going on. All right, guys. Again, not much going on. So, like I said earlier, look out for this range. The good thing here is that the range is getting tighter. This is exactly what I was hoping for. So you have this huge range over here. Let's measure from this high point to this low point. So this upper range, this lower range, we had about a 140 point range right here. What I said I wanted is I wanted price to kind of calm down a little bit and just consolidate within here, right? Or even tighter, start to squeeze. And the reason why I want this to consolidate and start to squeeze within this area is because eventually it's going to break out, right? Break out to the top or break out to the bottom. One or the other. But in order for us to have that, we need to have some sort of consolidation manipulation start happening here, right? We need to have that to happen here because that's basically how price structure tends to build. You tend to have some sort of directional push, then it tends to consolidate, then directional push, consolidate. This right here is kind of all over the place. There wasn't really much of a consolidation at all. Price kind of just opened up right here. We got this huge range back and forth, and then we never went into consolidation. Not even up here. Price kind of just went up and then it came straight back down. And then from here, it consolidated a little bit, but not really for a shot right back up. Ben's asking what causes gaps. So what causes gaps most of the time is there's two different things that may happen. It's either a data gap where I mean it just might be me. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing those gaps that I saw in NQ and the gap that I saw over here for YM. If you guys aren't seeing this, I mean let me know because if that's the case, it just might be me. I might have a connection issue. Um, So there's two things. It's either a connection issue where like, I might have a lapse in internet connection right here, or price was up here and then for whatever reason it ended up closing up here. The other thing that causes gaps is like lump orders that kind of get filled at one point. Like say for example, this here closes and then there's like a bunch of orders that just get flooded in right here and it ends up gapping above this area. But they should be pretty smooth. Like, all of these candles over here, they're supposed to connect after they close. So for example, this candle closes up here, it's right next to it, right? Comes down. This one closes right here, connects right next to it, pushes up. This is a small little price gap right here, but those price gaps don't happen very often, especially not during live session time. So during live session time over here, you guys can see how these candles here, it closes, it opens right next to it, right? Closes, opens right next to it, opens right next to it, opens right next to it. That's typically how it's supposed to end up. But whenever you see price gaps like this over here, it's one of two things. It's either a connection issue, so it could just be a one-sided thing for myself. But if everybody's seeing this gap right here, this is usually a flood of positions. Like say, for example, price came down and then a bunch of people try to enter buys at the same exact, at this one area right here, right? So what happened is like all those orders just got flooded in and it just pushed price right through, where it ended up pushing above it slightly. So yeah, I'm not sure if anybody doesn't see this. You should see this. Only reason I say that is because I have a price gap on my Ninja Trader too. If there wasn't a gap there, then it wouldn't show up on my Ninja Trader. It would usually just be on TradingView. Yeah. But yeah, there's no specific one cause for price gaps, Ben. It just depends on whether it's a data issue or if there's just a bunch of orders that kind of flipped in from there. My guess is that a bunch of orders flipped in from right there because that was when we were looking for the orb, right? And when we were looking for the orb, you can see our price would push up, a bunch of liquidity right there, push price back down, pushed up, pushed it down again right here, and then it ended up gapping between these areas. Because the buyers try to take control here, right? They try to fill in a bunch of buys here, but it didn't have that push behind it. It pushed past it, and then it came right back down. So, all right, guys, we are still looking at this market structure here to form. Looks like we got a high right there. We got price breaking past the low. If you guys want to take this right here as a high-low break and retest, again, this is an opportunity for you guys here. Not one I would personally take myself, but if you guys do want to take it, it's aligned with the red flag here again, which is the sessions. So this right here again is another high-low break and retest off this higher low. It's going to be at 44,992. This has to fill on this candle right here. If it doesn't fill on this candle, you have to cancel your order. Again, I just don't feel really comfortable taking positions right here because we're right at the sessions. You guys can see here how price got highly manipulated whenever it got past the sessions, right? So heavy manipulation right here at the sessions. And then again right here, price kind of broke below, sat around for a bit, and then shot right back above it. Right, came back below here, lured in some sellers, faked out, pulled right back above it. That's kind of what I would expect to happen here too. Doesn't look like this here is going to fill. We got about 10 seconds left on this candle here. If it doesn't fill in these 10 seconds, then no entry. 3 seconds, no fill. So no entry there for a high-low break and retest. We'll keep following. Like I said earlier, I think the sells here would make more sense for me because the 15-minute here is very bearish. It kind of still had bearish throughout the day. So 15-minute was bearish, 30-minute was bearish, 1 hour here is bearish neutral. 4 hour here is bullish. It's been bullish pretty much, but it's been climbing down. The 1 minute, 5 minutes now bearish. So everything here is pretty much bearish across the board except the 1 hour and 4 hour. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute, 30-minute price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. This indicates that we have a bearish trend with regard to the lower time frames. Looking over here at market structure, we currently have a bearish rating for the 1 minute and 5 minute. 15 is still bullish, but it's not very strong. Everything else here is pointing towards a nice bearish confirmation. So with that being the case, I mean, sells here could be pretty valid, right? The sells here could be valid. So what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for price to establish a new low here. And once it establishes a new low, which could be this lower low right here, I'm gonna look for it to establish a high and look for it to break and close below here and continue lower. So next opportunity for entry is going to be right here at 44,950, guys. That's going to be the next area that I'll be looking to take some sells. The sells here might work up, so we'll see. Still nothing there yet. All right, nothing there, guys. So I was looking for this to come back down lower, but it is not looking like it. All right, here we go. Back into the upper range, guys. So much for looking for that drop to the downside. It's all good. So I was hoping for this to, drop below, continuation, continuation, but it's not the case. We're still stuck within this range. Price pretty much came down here. Looks like it swept this area again below. So swept this structure and yeah, I mean back into this range. So it's all good. I mean, this isn't my favorite type of market conditions to trade in anyways. I mean, if you want to take these sweeps, I've been telling you guys, like, if you want to take the sweeps, feel free. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you guys want to take the sweeps, if this is your type of strategy to take, there's a ton of sweeps that are coming up here. You just got to go for the extremes. Yeah, Visual said whenever you see 15-minute bar coding, stay away from the market. It is chop city. Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's why I've been sitting out, kind of not really feeling the urge to take anything. Let's go back to that 15 minute. Yeah, the 15 minute right here, it's barcoding. Literally. See, the 15 minute doesn't usually barcode like this. Like if it does go like this, I mean on the 15, it's not common. I mean, if we see a big range here, so for example, it'd be different if we see it like kind of come down, then come back up, then come back down, then come back up. That'd be fine, right? But you see here, every candle is like literally down, up, down, up, down, up. Like 15 minute is like a good threshold to like identify direction. And right here, there's like obviously no direction. You know, some people like to trade on the five, but you can see here the five is just as messy. It's just a lot clearer on the 15 because they're three candles instead of just one. But same with the 5 minute, right? I think this is worse with the huge wicks on both ends, but same thing. So yeah, if you guys want to trade or if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. But just like I mentioned and just like Visual mentioned, it's chop city right now. There's nothing really going on. Price is stuck in this chop. Um, Worst case scenario here is if you do take a trade at the ends of these markets, like you try to chase it, it's going to swing you back into the range. And so this is the midpoint right here. See where price keeps pulling back to? It's like I said earlier, it just keeps pulling back to this opening price. And the ATR is dropping as well, 17 ATR. So market's getting slower, plus it's not really going anywhere. Ideally, price is supposed to push away from this opening price. That's always the case. We always look for price to push. Like that's the market gauge basically, right? Opening price is right here. You look for price. How far does it push away from opening price? It hasn't really pushed too far. So market openers right here, 630, price pushed up, 60 points, pushed down, 60 points. Right now, pushed up 10 points or less. So nice. Rashida here took a levels entry. Nice work, Rashida. So levels entry could be good in this like in this chop right here because if price is just going back and forth, you can catch it as it swings back, past the opposite direction back to the middle point, and then take levels on the way. So like I mean, price is let's see. So if you took it from down here, price push back up. Yeah, it looks like there'd be a levels entry right there, and then right here as well above the 45. This is actually a really good levels entry. I think this is when you took, right, Rashida? It makes sense. So right here at the 45,000 price broke past it, retested. So there's a lot of confluences here. This was a whole number, like a psychological number, 45,000. And then she caught it in between the range here back to opening price. So great trade right there. If I was to grade your levels entry right there, I grade an A. Great entry right there. Confluence was good. Market structure is bullish. Yeah, nice choice. All right, so we got price pushing back above here. Like we just talked about, guys, you want to be careful about price breaking out of the range because when it breaks out of the range like this, it can easily just pull back into the range. So it looks like it can lure in some buyers, fake out, and pull back down. And it looks like that's what's happening here. Possibly a sweep right here too off this lower high. So I'm not taking this trade here, but um, just wanted to take a look at it. Possible sweep. ATR is currently at 16 right now, so you probably want to go for ATR price. The 40 is just going to be way too far out for you to push for. Um, yeah, you kind of want to base it off like what's available. All right, price is just sitting right here right now. All right. So we'll see here if price ends up coming back into this lower range. Looks like that's probably going to be the case here, but we'll see. Sam said he's in the sweep. Bad ATR though. Yeah, the ATR is just getting lower, bro. It's at 16 ATR right now. Ideally, I'd like to see it around 20 and stay around 20. Sam got out at break even. Yeah, that was probably the smart move for you there because price here is not very consistent with where it's gone. So let's see if there's higher high here. No. Ideally, I'd like to take some sells here, but you can see here, I mean, it's pretty much just going sideways again. Let's see what other news events we have this week. I mean, there's not really much. There's no catalyst or anything like that pushing price around. See, breaking news over here, Bitcoin sinks to 115,000 after hitting the newest record as macro concerns sparked liquidation wave. No surprise there. It's kind of expected. I'm kind of glad I cashed in on my Bitcoin because this stuff would have gave me a headache. How it keeps bouncing back and forth like that. All right, it's a Bitcoin right there. What other news event we got? There's actually no breaking news right now, which is interesting for Monday. Yeah, nothing really there. So for this week, we have housing data, a lot of housing data. So we had NHB Housing Market Index today. Tomorrow we have housing starts, building permits, etc. Wednesday we have Fed. So this is Fed week. This is Fed week and housing data. So today we had housing data. Tomorrow we have housing data. Wednesday we have Fed, the Jack Hole Symposium. We got the Fed speaking, Fed Bostic. We got the Fed minutes. Fed Waller speaking. We got gas stock change. And Thursday, we have more Fed speakers. We have jobless claims, initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims with jobs data right there with housing data as well, existing home sales, etc. for the month and for the month over month. It's all forecasted to be negative, but we'll see. And we got Fed Chair Powell speaking on Friday. So Fed week plus housing week. I mean, it just might be a bit of some chop. Just might be a bit of some chop here for this week. Not every week can be super directional. Yes, last week was super directional. So, I always tell you guys the month works in waves. So we have a possible high-low break and retest right here, guys. Retest area is gonna be right here at 45,051. It's got to fill on this current candle right here. Does not look like it's gonna fill, so there's probably not gonna be an entry right there. Yeah, it never filled, so no high-low break and retest off this higher high. Here we go. As price pushes up a little more. All right. I think this is the choppiest and rangiest market that we've seen in a long time, guys. We saw a lot of this happen last month, and then the whole month of August has been pretty directional and nice. But this is bound to happen. So here, let me put this up real quick. So, like I said, so market months move in waves. Like usually there's like week one, which is NFP, right? It's like directional. So this was like volatile, semi-directional. Week two, we had inflation, very directional. We're in week three right now. This is Fed week, choppy, ranging. Four. Week four is gonna be, I forget what's on week four, but week four is typically, so if you look at these in order, it's like okay, NFP week is obviously super volatile, semi-directional. Week two, which was last week, very directional, is inflation. We had PPI, CPI data. This is Fed week. We have very choppy ranging market. And then week four could be directional consolidation. So this is kind of what to expect for like next week. Because we already had a very volatile week. We had a very directional week, which was last week. That was a very good week for us. And then this week is probably gonna be choppy and ranging. And then next week's probably gonna be directional with some consolidation. So if you go back, like if you ever go back and just see how the market was moving pretty much every week for like every month, you'll see that this is usually the case. And this is why a lot of strategies don't work like perfect all the time, right? This is why the whole concept of like people saying that you should like understand that there's times to apply your strategies and there's times when not to apply your strategies, right? Like for week one and two, it was very directional, right? So if you look at my stats over here, I was able to catch these trades pretty nicely. Week three over here is Fed week, so it's gonna be very choppy. I might have like one good day as well, but it's gonna be very tricky to cash those because of the market conditions. And then week four, obviously directional consolidation. So this just shows you because I'm more of a directional trader that I'll typically have like two pretty good weeks for the month. And then the other weeks it's more so just kind of sitting back and just watching the market because that's just typically how it runs. Christian said, "Have a good day, guys. Price is still slow and on summer movement." Yeah, Christian, definitely. If you're done for the day, it's all good. Yeah, Christian said they're just making the harmonic patterns for IML traders, and the harmony is never there. Yeah, it really isn't. It's like choppy, and then you see the pattern happen like once or a couple times, for the month, and you're like, oh, we have these harmonic patterns, but realistically, they're not because the harmonic patterns will typically only move in a directional market, right? Usually, a directional market or a sideways market kind of depends on what pattern you're looking for. Like a very volatile market would be good for like head and shoulders, right? See that very often. Very directional market like last week was more of a break and retest type week. Fed week, choppy and ranging. This has a lot of sweeps. directional consolidation. This again is going to be more of a break and retest, maybe continuation type. But yeah, that's just kind of how it is. Yeah, Shiv said, I do wonder how MSTR uses debt to scale with high interest rates. If a recession hits, what happens? I mean, if a recession hits, they get screwed, right? Because then people got to pull the money out. They're going to liquidate everything. Yeah, that's why MSTR, it was doing really well for a while. And then it's like, it was, it goes through phases. Like MSTR was like doing really well for a while. And then it kind of slumped a little bit. And then it came back and did well again because Bitcoin is doing well. Because like what they're doing is they're recycling money. If you, I read like I know this guy that is like super huge in the crypto space with regard to like they kind of call it like recycling money. Like what happens is they get investors to put money into MSTR and then they buy Bitcoin and then they sell options, right? For premium. So they're basically recycling premium. So they make money on the premium. If price goes up, then great, they make money. But if price comes down, they make money on the premium. So it's like they're always winning in one way or the other. A normal person wouldn't be able to do that because, like you said, it's not small money. It's not something that like like anybody could just do. Like the guy that I know that does this stuff, like they're investing like millions into this, right? Because you can't really that type of strategy, it doesn't work unless you have like millions, honestly, because you have to buy the underlying stock or the underlying asset, and then you could write options on it. So you have to be able to pay for the actual asset, which is going to cost like a million or so, right? Depending on how much you want to buy, and then you're going to write options on it. So the options is where you make money because you write options for people that are like the gamblers, right? The degenerates, like people who are trading options by itself straight out without actually owning the asset. Those are the people that are like that they're making money off of because people will they'll buy call options or buy puts on MSTR or on Bitcoin or on ETFs and stuff like that. And the people who are actually making money on it are the people who actually own the stock or the asset. Because they make money both ways, right? Price goes up, they make money because the asset appreciates, and then they make money if price goes down because they write options to these people who just blow their money on the options. So yeah, I mean it is a hack definitely, but you need a lot of money to do it. I was just talking to somebody, like I've been talking to a lot of like bigger investors about stuff like that because now that I'm in the hedge fund space, we kind of talk about this stuff all the time. It's like, yeah, if we had this amount of money, we could run this type of racket basically. It's not a racket, it's a strategy, right? It's basically like doing covered calls, right? If you guys have traded options, like covered calls is basically what they're doing, but they're doing it on a bigger scale with an asset that costs so much. Like, I mean, if you look at like let's look at MSTR real quick. See, MSTR is $300 per share. So you would need to like if you're gonna sell, if you're gonna write like 100 options, you would need like 1,000 shares, right? So yeah, 363 times 1,000, or you need like 10,000 shares basically, right? You basically need 3 million. You would need 3 million to own the underlying, and then you make premiums on the shares that you have, right? This is only 10,000 shares. Think about it, like. Or even if you were to buy 1,000 shares, right? 363 times 1,000, like you'd still need 300. Like you make some money on this. You wouldn't make like a lot, but you make a pretty good amount of money, a couple $1,000 per like flip. Basically, you make money on price going up, and you make money on writing the options. So it's the same with like other assets, right? Like if people want to do like the same thing with like the SPY, right? That's another thing. Like, see how much the SPY costs? 600. If you want to do that type of strategy, it's like an arbitrage. You're basically buying the stock. If the stock goes up, you make money. And then you sell the option contracts to people who are trying to buy they're trying to buy puts. You have the underlying, and then money goes up, you make money. Price comes down, you make money that way too on the premium. So you'll lose money on the asset. It'll reappreciate at some point in the future, but you also make money on the downside, right? It's like basic hedging. Like it's like I only know about this stuff because I've been studying for the Series 3, so it's like I'm like so entwined with like these different types of strategies. Like for us here, we're trading directional, right? For futures and YM, we're trading these directional moves here. When you look at things from like a hedge fund perspective or from like a CTA, like what I'm doing, you try to like find ways to take a directional move, but then also protect your downside. So for example, if I was to take this trade here, like say I really wanted to take a buy here at some point, right? So say for example, we have a high-low break and retest. So what I would do here is I would take the retest right here. I would take this as a buy, and I'm not taking this trade here, but say for example, this is a high-low break and retest. I would take the buy right here for a directional move and hold the asset, and then I would take a option put right here. I would buy option put, so I would limit my risk. So the thing is, my risk here for the option put, I could like limit my risk to wherever my stop loss is at, right? Or to wherever this target is. So basically, I could hedge this position. I would take the directional move and I try to catch the 40. And then if price ends up coming down, I would still make the premium on this trade, but I would basically limit my risk. Right. So for example, right here, see how this here is coming down. If I would have taken this high-low break and retest, it could stop me out right here. But since I'm buying the put, I would basically catch the premium on this trade because I would make money this way. The thing is, you can't trade both ways. So like for example, you can't take a future asset and you can't take a buy and a sell at the same time because you can't hedge that way. The way to hedge this is you would hedge it with a directional move, and then you would take the option put over here to limit your risk. So, there's different ways to play this out. Like you wouldn't make a lot of money here because your profit potential and your risk would be capped, but you basically would be guaranteeing profit every time you take a trade. You basically take a haircut, take a small little profit off that. Yeah, Shiv said, but then when everyone tries to pull out, you don't actually have that liquid cash is the crazy part, surely. Well, that's the thing. You can't write options unless you have the asset. So you have to have the cash because you can't write the option unless you have the cash for the options. So that's why for that specifically, Shiv, like that strategy doesn't work for most people because they don't have the cash to actually buy the asset. Like you can't write the options unless you have the asset. That's why you see a lot of people who trade options because they can't pay for the asset. But but yeah, it's just different. Like, you see these option traders who just buy a bunch of options, but they don't actually own the stock. Um, like you're put at a huge risk trading that way. Because if you lose off the premium, then you just lose in general. But if you own the stock, you can lose on the premium, but still make money on the actual stock. So yeah, you just need a lot of capital to trade that way. PC said usually hedging is done across various numbers of assets. For example, YM is heavily hedged right now against ES and NQ. Um, I wouldn't say that. I mean, where did you see that, PC? Because they're not correlated. And I only know this because I'm actually studying for the Series 3. Like I know what's correlating and what's not. So I'm not sure where you saw that they're hedged against each other. What's hedged against YM are bonds and gold and Bitcoin, right? Those are what's hedged against these types of assets. You don't hedge YM against NQ. It doesn't make sense. Like why would you hedge YM against NQ when NQ is it's a tech stock, right? They're not correlated. So just because YM goes up doesn't mean NQ goes down. You would hedge it against something that goes opposite of it. So if YM is going up, for example, if you're looking at the interest rates, like right now, that's the biggest thing, right? Interest rates news is coming out on a Wednesday. If the interest rates if they go up, then dollar value goes up with it, right? Or the YM will go up with it and the dollar value will go down. So that's why you hedge it against bonds or some other asset that goes opposite of it. But it's for sure not hedged against NQ or ES. ES mirrors YM. So if you put YM next, it just wouldn't make sense. Like here, let's see. I'll go to ES right here and I'll just show you. So let's go to ES here and we'll go to 240, like the 4-hour time frame. See how they move in the same direction? Like it would be like it just wouldn't make sense. That'd be like so dumb for you to hedge it against ES, right? There's no way this would be hedged against each other. You hedge them to go opposite from each other. So like if you're gonna buy YM, you're not gonna buy ES or you're not gonna sell ES because it's going the same direction of it, right? It's literally like a mirror image of it. So that's not what you would hedge against. You would hedge against something like gold, right? So like see how YM's going up, gold's going down. This is a hedge. You buy YM, you sell gold. Or you sell bonds or something like that. But you wouldn't do NQ or ES. Same with this one over here, right? NQ and ES, they don't correlate at all with YM because these are tech stocks. It's the top 100 tech stocks versus the top 30 general stocks. Yeah, I know what intermarket spread hedging is, bro. I'm studying for the Series 3. I know what it is, but you wouldn't hedge these assets. That's why I'm wondering, like, where did you hear that you would hedge NQ against YM? It's not it doesn't make sense to hedge these two. Yeah, because you would go against an opposite asset. I'm just curious. I'm not trying to argue with you. I want to know. I want to know where you heard that from, because that's not the right information. So there's the intermarket spread and there's the intramarket spread, right? Intramarket spread is if you're going to trade, like say for example, right now we're currently on the September contract. Like if you want to do an intramarket spread, you would like basically buy the September contract and then you would sell the December contract. You could do that. Like that would be an intramarket spread if you want to trade the same asset. The COT data. Where did you see the COT data for that? I'm just really curious, PC. I'm not I'm just really because I'm if that's the case and like people are doing the opposite hedges of like ES and them, I don't the COT data doesn't tell you like what's they just tell you what the numbers are. I mean, I could pull up the COT data for you. I'm just really curious. Like I'm not trying to argue with you. I want to know like where you're getting this stuff from because I'm like curious about like what I would hedge YM with. It's just the thing is I don't hold YM for long enough to hedge it, right? Like we're day trading YM here, so there's I mean the hedges wouldn't work. Like you'd have to hold the hedge for like you know a couple weeks, couple months, etc. But we're day trading it here, so it just wouldn't make sense. But yeah, like you said, the COT data it doesn't necessarily say anything about them being hedged against each other, but. Okay, I see. So it's just your opinion then. That's just your opinion because you said it's just what I see. Okay, no, that's completely fine. It's fine if it's your opinion. I'm just curious, like I wanted to, if you were pulling the data from like a certain website or a certain analyst or something like that, I was curious to see if like they're seeing something that I'm not seeing. But from my experience, you know, it just doesn't correlate. So yeah, Visual said if you like to hedge once Fed starts lowering rates, then you would short the US dollar, go long equity. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I just said too. Visual. Because that's what a lot of people are looking at, right? They're looking at the interest rates that are coming out this Wednesday. This Wednesday, they're probably not going to get cut. So it's probably going to happen on September. So next month, if they do cut interest rates, then what you would do is you would buy dollar and short equities, right? So yeah, I agree with you 100% with that visual. Visual said if you like to hedge once Fed starts lowering interest rates, you would short the US dollar, go long equity because market loves lower rates, but dollar not. Yeah, 100%. You know, like learning more and more about the options market, like within the futures market, is like super interesting. Which obviously I'm going to be using to my advantage with the hedge fund and stuff like that. But with us here, that stuff is kind of relevant. So like I'm kind of digging deep into like this type of trading style that doesn't really apply to us here specifically because we're only trading on here on the 1 minute, right? Unless you're doing like a day trading entry or strategy, which is like I guess zero dates expiration. You could do that, but for the most part, like if you're trading with Apex or anything like that, it's just not going to work because you can't hold a position overnight, right? Prop firms, it's just impossible to trade that way. These types of strategies, you need to have your own funds. You need to trade. You would need to trade like you just have to be in and out very quickly. Yeah, exactly. Visual said Wednesday's just Fed minutes, so no rate cut or anything, just overview of what BS Fed said last time. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to have anything new here. The If anything, the cuts are probably going to happen in September or October. I don't think we're going to get cuts in November or December. We usually don't have them during the holidays. November, of course, for Thanksgiving, probably not going to happen. December, Christmas, probably not going to happen. So there's probably going to be a 25% uh, cut for either September or October. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on there. But all right, guys, I think this might be it for the day. I don't see anything else here. Thanks for everybody's input. I mean, it was a good just like kind of collaborating on like ideas and stuff. And yeah, PC, I agree. If you're looking at the COD data, if you see that, then that's great. I was just curious if you're seeing it from any other place, because I'm always looking for other places to pull data from. you know. I like to understand what other people are seeing, and I like to like kind of use that to our advantage, especially here with our own trading. So, all right, guys, it is 8:06. No entries for today, unfortunately, no official entries. There's a bunch of sweeps that happened today, so a sweep pretty much all throughout the morning session with a couple high-low break and retests here. None that I would personally take myself, but I mean, yeah, we had a choppy market. Market is still choppy here, as you can see. Nothing's really happened. Price just keeps getting pulled back to this opening price, which is the opening right here at 45,015. So if you guys want to continue taking trades, I would just look at possible sweeps at the extreme. So like I have structure here marked up. If you guys are looking to take sweeps, probably take sweeps from up here or sweeps from down here. You can see all the sweeps that happen down here are pretty much perfectly aligned with the extremes. I wouldn't really take trades down the middle here unless you're taking something slightly directional. But all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out on Discord. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up for the day. No trades for today, so it's I would consider this a good day. No losses, so we're gonna continue on with this week, and hopefully the volatility and direction continues on a little bit smoother as we progress through this week. It's looking like it probably will. There was no news today to really push a catalyst in a direction. Tomorrow we have housing data. So hopefully that kind of pushes price pre-market, and then we can continue to ride that wave. And then same with Wednesday, we have gas stock change, and then we have the Fed speaking. But other than that, I think that's about it. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.